Hi, this is Sebastian. I'm product manager at Arturia. I'm here today to talk about the Mini-Brute 2 and Mini-Brute 2S synth voice. These two instruments share the exact same synthesizer voice, so we will cover them at the same time. The section of the instrument we're going to cover today is here. It is made of two voltage control oscillators, or VCOs, VCO1 and VCO2, a mixer, a Steiner-Parker 12 dB multimode filter, right here, an amplifier with the brute factor, which is a feedback loop, two envelopes, and two LFOs. Let's take a look at each of these modules and see what makes them unique and interesting. The first oscillator produces pulse, sawtooth, and triangle waveform. What is great about this is that those waveforms can be shaped and mixed together. The pulse waveform has pulse width modulation, either static or with a modulation. The sawtooth waveform has an ultra-saw circuit, which generates detuned copies of the sawtooth to obtain a bigger sound. Finally, the metallizer is a wavefolder circuit that is applied to the triangle waveform. So this is the clean waveform. It can create harsh metallic tones. The second oscillator is simpler. You can choose between sine, saw, or square waveforms. And you can choose the range of the tune knobs so that it can be a fine tune, a coarse tune, or you can turn it into an LFO, in which case it's not audible, but it can be used as a modulation source. The FM knob in VCO1 section defines the amount of frequency modulation of oscillator 1 from oscillator 2, which sounds like this. In the mixer section, you will be able to set the volume of each waveform of VCO1 plus VCO2, a white noise source, and an external input that can be connected to the patch bay. It is easy to create complex timbres by mixing all those sources together. Mini-Brute 2 features a Steiner-Parker filter. It's the same kind of filter that is used on the original Mini-Brute, Macro-Brute, and Matrix Brute. It was reworked a bit to sound lively with the waveforms that can be sent into it. It has a 12 dB per octave slope, so it naturally lets a lot of harmonics pass through. But with the right mix of resonance and brute factor, it is possible to make it sound round and creamy like a steeper filter, or very aggressive. It is a multi-mode filter. It offers low pass, band pass, high pass, and notch modes. The voltage control amplifier, or VCA, contains the brute factor knob. The brute factor creates a feedback loop by patching the signal after the amplifier back into the filter input. Depending on the patch that is used, and especially the filter mode, this can generate a smoother sound or a much more aggressive sound. It will sound uncontrollable at extreme settings, which is sometimes an enjoyable effect. The Attenuator 2 knob is a bit unusual, but when nothing is connected in the patch bay, it is used to simply open the VCA, letting the signal pass through. This is great when making drone sounds, or using Mini-Brute 2 as an effect unit. Now that we covered the modules that are primarily designed to generate or transform the sound, let's have a look at those that will be used to modify the sound over time, envelopes and LFOs. Let's start with the simpler one, the ADSR. It is a classic envelope design, and by default it is routed to the filter frequency. The AD envelope is less conventional. Compared to the ADSR envelope, the attack and decay times can here range from extremely fast to very slow. Also, it can behave in one of 4 different modes based on the position of the 2 switches. When set to once and trig, the AD envelope is effectively an attack decay envelope. The duration of the pressed note has no effect. When set to once and gate, the AD envelope acts as an attack hold release envelope. The release starts when the note is depressed. When set to loop and trig, the AD envelope loops and is reset when a key is pressed. When set to loop and gate, the AD envelope loops only when a key is pressed and ends its cycle when the key is depressed. The attack and decay times can be controlled with a CV signal, making it a great module for weird rhythmic sequences. There are 2 LFOs, each with 6 selectable waveforms. The rate can either be free or dependent on the tempo of the sequencer arpeggiator. Those LFOs can run at auto rate, so they can be used for FM patches, such as bells. Mini-Brute 2 and 2S are semi-modular synthesizers. It means that the various modules that we introduced in this video are already connected together in what we felt was the best way. But it also means that you can reorganize them any way you want by patching cables in the patch bay. We will talk in detail about this aspect in a separate video. Thank you for watching. In the next video, we will talk about ways to use the patch bay on the Mini-Brute 2 and Mini-Brute 2S.